talking about manifestations of the Holy Spirit. This word manifestation is interesting. It has Latin roots, and it's originally two different root words to form the word manifestation. The first word in Latin is manus. Manus means your hand. And so we know this, if you're outside doing manual labor, you're working with your hands, right? So it's pretty simple. The second part of the word is festus, which has to do with a festival or a celebration. And so a manifestation of God is literally the dancing hand of God. Okay, that's what a manifestation is. And this, once I saw that and somebody else explained it to me, it really helped me to understand some things. So how many of us have been in a meeting? It's a revival meeting and God's moving, different things are happening, and you look around the room and you see people over here and they're crying. But you see people over here and they're laughing. And you see people over here who are not doing either of those things, but they have the most peaceful, contented look on their face, like something's going on, but we don't know what. You understand what I'm saying? So when I used to think, well, surely when God does something, he has to do something and everybody's gonna respond the same way. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes in a move of God, lots of people speak in tongues or lots of people get filled with the joy of the Lord. But when I understood that a manifestation was literally the dancing hand of God, orchestrating, directing, moving around the room, when I understood that God knows what every single individual in this room needs and how they need to be touched today, then I began to understand, he's doing something deep and profound over here, and it has shown up in tears. But he's doing something deep and profound over here as well. It just manifested in laughter. And so this helps me understand. I hope that helps you a little bit as we start to see. And so when you're in a meeting and you see this, pay attention. It's kind of fun to look around the room and see. Sometimes there'll be pockets and you can almost, I'm not one of these seers, so I can't see all the things in the spirit, but it's almost like you can sense God just landed there. And a whole lot of people in that section, like something just started to happen. And so you can pay attention to that and see what God's doing. There's one more key question before we get into our verses that I want to mention. This question kind of forms the basis for a lot of what I do in this course. And the question is this: is the Bible your foundation or your ceiling? Is the Bible your foundation or your ceiling? Here's what I mean by that. If the Bible is my ceiling, then it limits me. I need to have a verse for every single thing that I do in life. And if I can't find a verse, then I can't do it. That's what I mean by a ceiling. But if we say that the Bible is our foundation, now what I'm saying is, okay, throughout history, throughout redemptive history in the Bible, we've seen God do this, and we've seen God do this, and we've seen God do this. So if God has done all those things already in the past, in the Bible, and we've seen it, then for him to do something one step removed from that is not that big a deal, is it? Now, I may not have a verse for every single experience, encounter, phenomena that's ever experienced. I don't think I do have a verse for that. But if we can look through history and say, these are the ways that God has worked, then I see that as building a foundation. Honestly, we're gonna look at these sometime today. There are a lot of things that God only did once or twice. There are a whole lot of supernatural things that just showed up one time. And I think what God is trying to get us to do is not, he's not trying to have us be lawyers, to find a verse to support every single thing. He's trying to get us to understand him. He's trying to get us to understand his heart and his ways so that when he does something a little bit different, we can figure out, is that him or not him? Because we know him. And that's really what I'm going after. So is the Bible your foundation or your ceiling? I'm hoping that we can lay today through our course, lay a foundation of what God does, what God has done. And then when we see new things, we can see, is this God or is this not God? Does that make sense?